This is the POV Hamilton Podcast, where we're sharing the Hamilton, Ontario point of view, from businesses and entrepreneurship to life sciences and education to arts, culture, and media. Hamilton is thriving, and there are countless stories to be shared of the people, businesses, and organizations making it happen. Here's whose point of view you'll be listening to today.
Hi, I'm Reece Morgan. I'm the Executive Director from the Industry Education Council, and I'm the guest host from POV Hamilton. And today I have the wonderful Sheryl Robinson Petrazzini from the Hamilton Wentworth School Board here to talk about partnership, the school board, and rollout of the strategic plan for the next 5 years. Welcome, Sheryl.
Thank you, Reece. I'm delighted to be here this afternoon. As you said, I'm the very proud director of the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board, and we recently launched our new 5-year, multi-year strategic plan, which is going to take us from 2023 all the way into 2028. I'm delighted to be here with you today.
Wonderful. Sheryl, recently the strategic plan was just unveiled, and it was to the delight and to the astonishment and to the wonderment of the community. And it was such a huge rollout that it really has some questions to be answered, but it's such a good plan for the next 5 years. And this is something that you're so proud of, and we hope to have everybody on board. Can you please tell me more about it?
Thank you so much for that question. We just launched a new multi-year strategic plan, which is for 2023 to 2028. And I always talk about it's not just what we do, but it's how we do it. That's really important. And so you attended the launch, and you would have seen that we had on display some of the tremendous talent of our students that we have in the school board. So everything from the art and the music, spoken word. We had so much incredible talent on display. And this was really about centering students, because the work of the multi-year strategic plan is for our students. So I'm very proud of that. And of course, we landed where we did with the new strategic directions after extensive consultation with the community. And so we're really proud, and we really feel like we've done a great job. The Board of Trustees for our board has done a fabulous job of reflecting back what we heard from communities. So in the end, we ended up with 5 overarching strategic directions, and they are upholding human rights, safety, and well-being, providing an equitable, quality education, building a sustainable education system, collaborating with students, families, and community partners. And one that I'm very proud of, because not a lot of other school boards have this, would be reinforcing Indigenous educational wellness and reconciliation. And so those are the overarching strategic directions in our new multi-year strategic plan.
Those are excellent. I was there and I attended, and it was so wonderful to see, especially since all the students were able to give their viewpoints, and it was very much student-centered. Truly, when you're looking at the programs that are out there within the school systems, how does HWDSB ensure that those educational programs remain really responsive to the diverse needs of the students within the Hamilton community?
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a great question. So having the Board of Trustees pass this plan, of course, is only the beginning. In response to the plan, which I also tend to think of this new multi-year strategic plan as the marching orders for staff, because it really lays out what the board has set as priorities for us to do and to accomplish. And so as a result of that new multi-year strategic plan, we're creating, it would have been previously known as the board annual plan. We have changed the name again because we are focused on a culture of improvement. So it will be called the Board Improvement Plan. And so in the new Board Improvement Plan, we're setting out as a priority to really focus on a culture of improvement. And we know that our students need to improve in the areas of literacy, of numeracy, well-being, engagement, and really relevant to the conversation we're having today, future preparedness. While it is that we celebrate the launch, we know that there's lots of work that we have to do. And the reason we know that those are the right 5 things for us to focus on is because of the consultation that we did with Hamilton communities.
Well, that consultation is so crucial. And it's also very timely. When we look at now what we're coming out of as COVID, right? The idea that basically it's been such a hard time. And education is always on the lips of people's minds, and where are we going? So how does the school board really approach that balance between the traditional classroom teaching methods and more innovative, real student-centered ones?
So while I talk about the fact that we're really focusing on a culture of improvement, first of all, that was really deliberate because we know that everyone has the ability to improve and get better. We're not necessarily looking at one school against another. We're looking at how do we get better in the spaces where we are. But the one thing I would say is I still also want to, I guess, give a shout out to the good work that has been happening in our school board. And so this new plan is meant to sort of build on the foundation of the good work that has come before. One of the things that first of all, I want to say that with the launch, we had a launch of new colors, the black and yellow, and you would know that we have a new tagline, and that new tagline is "Be you, be excellent." I love this tagline because, first of all, it says, be your authentic self. It also says we already know that there's so many things that you are already excellent at. And one of the things that we want to do in the school board is really focus on what's the value that we bring and that we add, so that when students leave us, they are prepared for the world that they're going to go out into. So again, be you, be excellent. Yes.
I think that's incredible because, in fact, that tagline really sums up the idea is even though your individuality can step out and to be that excellent part of it, right? I mean, be you, there's ways to sort of open up and reach out to those that maybe can assist you in that. Exactly. And that's why our education system is so important. Exactly. I'm going to shift a little bit to experiential learning.
Yeah.
As the IEC and as the role that we've held for the last 40 plus years, a big part of our mandate is to work closely with education, with business, with community, and looking at experiential learning and those forms of ways to get students involved and to expose them. So really, from an economic perspective, how does introducing students to their future careers through experiential learning contribute to long-term economic growth? Programs like High Skills Majors, OYAP, of course, dual credits. These are all incredible programs that are embedded already in the schools. And so how are they contributing to those long-term economic growth?
Yeah. I want to just start by just telling you a little bit about myself in terms of my background. So I've been in education for well over 30 years and thinking, my background is having been a teacher, having been a school principal, a superintendent, and through all of those experiences in education, I have always marveled at how is it that we truly engage students, grasp their attention, and how do we support them? And experiential learning is a huge part of that because it really supports students with their interests. It really helps students to be engaged, to really add another aspect to their learning. So very often we talk about those academic gains, but when you are involved in experiential learning, it supports the academics, but it is so much more than that. And so I'm just so proud that is something that is a priority in our school board because it really helps young people to focus on their interests and I like to say to show how they are smart as well, right? They learn things about themselves by engaging in experiential learning, things that they didn't know that they could do, right?
From that aspect, as far as I read a really good article in the Globe and Mail recently, and it was talking about the benefits of humanities education. We seem to be pushing specifically for STEM. Obviously, the needs for there, but to understand the balance between understanding arts, technological education, all these things, that hands-on part of it are really crucial to the benefit of it. So absolutely, that's where the experiential learning comes into that. So really, considering that rapidly changing job market, when we talk about things that are in place now and 5 years now, we're trying to educate them for the future, but the future is rapidly approaching us. How does experiential really help that students adapt to thrive in those evolving career landscapes?
I think I would start first by, as I said previously, interest, really supporting students with the things that they're interested in learning, giving them that hands-on experience, that idea of exposure. I think about two of my own children that were very focused on, the academic stream, so to speak, and they really liked math and science and thought they would be going to university. And I really supported supported them to ensure that they engaged in SHISM. They enrolled in the SHISM program, and they did co-op education. And I'll tell you, the experiences, so now I'm speaking as a parent and an educator, because the experiences that they got out of those programs, they still talk about those experiences at job interviews that they have. So this is the value in really focusing on these things. And I would say that for us, we have this year over 400 HWDSB students that are participating in dual credit programs. We have aviation and healthcare, which are two of our newest programs. And we know that these are areas that, that are really relevant in our society in terms of supporting job markets and growth. These are rapidly growing markets. We partner extensively with Mohawk. And so I think that idea of having that partnership between educational institutions is so good for the city of Hamilton. We also partner with Niagara College at Nora Francis, where we have a OYAP Level 1 hairstylist program, and OYAP being the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. So these are some of the fabulous things that are happening at our school board, and we are trying to do an even better job of promoting these to students so that they know that these possibilities and opportunities exist.
It's interesting because we try to promote it to students, and absolutely that's our role as far as educators, and to promote them what's going on as we break down a little bit of more of the walls to say this is what's happening. And I think that's why, going back to your strategic plan, you've opened up the doors to say, we want the more partners. We have these already in place. We cannot do this alone as far as that. So that's wonderful. Right. So really, can you discuss that impact on experiential learning, students' motivation and the engagement in the educational process?
So to your point, experiential learning really allows students to develop a deeper understanding of learning and its connection to the real world. And I think that's the difference. Sometimes we don't necessarily have that real world connection in the things that are happening in classrooms. And when you're able to do this, I think this helps to meet two types of students, right? Students who are highly engaged in academics and students who may not be. But to my previous point, sometimes when they have these experiential learning opportunities, this is where they find out this is my niche. This is the thing that I love. This is what I'm good at. And I think that's just so important for young people, for our students, but it ends up being a really good thing for our city and our economy as well, right? And young people can reflect on these experiences. They can make connections to what they already know and apply the knowledge in different ways. So again, this speaks to the strength of experiential learning.
I think that, we seem to not demonize, but look at experiential learning or even things like hands-on learning as almost like that's not for me. But the idea that our connection to the world is done through much of that hands-on part. Listening to the radio, the CBC actually today, and they were talking about risk playing. The idea about encouraging more climbing trees, more use of tools, more use of actually getting your potential for the risk to go up as far as that. Because we learn not only the ability to do things, but also the ability to say, how do you not do things like that? So that's a big part of that experiential learning. So we're going to shift now to partnership. And you mentioned a few about those partners that you've got. The Mohawk, you've got lots of organizations that truly want to be partners. And partnership means a lot of things to different people. But share with me some examples. The IEC has been involved with the Board of Education for over 40 years.
Definitely.
I can go back to my
days.
days.
Such an important partnership.
Go back to my days with Delta High School and the partnership of mentoring, which was crucial. So just share with me some of the examples of that partnerships, of collaborations between the school board and some of the local businesses and organizations that really have contributed to that Hamilton's economic development.
Well, I think it's funny because the first thing I was going to say was the IEC. So being new to Hamilton, being new to Hamilton last year, this has been an incredibly important partnership for me to better understand industry and education's connections in Hamilton. It's been crucial. I've been able to reach out to you and to others, on the IEC to get supports, to understand how we can better meet the needs of our students' needs and interests. And as I'm going to continue to say, when we do that, we are doing better for our city, right? So I know that ArcelorMittal de Fasco has not had a high school co-op program, I think, since the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And that changed this past September when they actually had applications for a co-op program. I think we had over 30 students apply. 4 were accepted, and they were engaged in a 16-week program where they are supervised by, experienced journey persons in the work that they're doing. But just think about how exciting that is for some of our students to have that experience. So that's one of our incredible partnerships that we have, and some of them have students focusing on the trades such as millwright, welder, electrician, and so much more. But these are invaluable experiences.
And we're preparing, everybody, we hope, is preparing students for the workforce development that's going to be out there. And we're not talking about like grade 11 or grade 12 where some of the programs are intact. Those need to start early. You're talking about kindergarten, understanding that, there's literature out there that defines, mummy's a plumber like that.
Right.
It's destigmatizing stereotypes as far as that. So things that are able to sort of educate young people about the possibilities is really the role of what we hope to do as far as that. Recently, I know that the city has put out, and you mentioned again, the idea, you've already gotten your notes, you know this for sure, this, because that's why your strategic plan. Well, no, but your strategic plan you've done that consultation. But how does the school board collaborate with those local industries to ensure that really students are not only exposed, but the potential, but aligned with the skills needed?
Well, that's part of the important work that you do, and the partnership that we have with you is supporting. And I think what's really important, and I mentioned previously a board improvement plan. So a board improvement plan that we have is for 1 year, but at the end of that year, we're going to be evaluating, did we actually meet what we set out? And I think in a school board, to ensure that we're constantly relevant, it's important to have partnerships with community. It's important to have partnerships with industry, but it's also important to work together to look at what are other opportunities. And so, I'm seeing, like in the short time that I've been at the school board, we already have had additional SHISM programs. We have transportation, aviation. So it's constantly evolving and changing and adapting to meet more needs and to meet the needs of students. So I'm really, really pleased about that. And I would say that co-op teachers in our school board recently welcomed applications to accelerated OYAP Level 1 apprenticeship training programs. And these programs are going to be running in the spring at Mohawk College. Construction Craft Worker Level 1 is another program at LaUNA. And last time you and I spoke, and this, I talked a lot about co-op because it's so exciting. But co-op is one of the ones that people are more aware of. So you and I spoke, I told you after our conversation, I wanted to talk about this and this and this. Yeah, today I got to talk a little bit more about that which we are currently offering. So besides co-op, we have the SHISM programs, the OYAP, the dual credit, and all of this is happening. And I want families to know of the availability, because this really supports students' learning. And if your child chooses to do the college or university route, this is going to enhance their learning. And if they choose to go into these honorable professions of skilled trades, which are specific trades that are highly trained, then this is going to support them as they go on to these specialized programs. So I'm so excited to be able to talk about this today, because this is an important part of us reaching our multi-year strategic goals.
Finding and helping the student to find their direction as far as that, to help them make the choices, to help them open up doors that can basically, and knowing full well, and you've already led into this, these things can't be done alone. They must be done in tandem, in collaboration with the community, because that's, we hope to build our community within Hamilton. You put this in place now, this 5-year plan, and you've already you're envisioning something for the future as far as that, right? But how do you envision the future of education sector in Hamilton that's shaping that city's economic growth and workforce development? Parents are looking at now their students, their son and daughter in school, in starting them in school, they're automatically thinking about the future as far as that. So.
Absolutely. This is an incredibly important question, because every student that comes to HWDSB is going to go forward and contribute their talents, their gifts, their skills in whatever community they end up in, which more than likely we hope will be Hamilton, that they will contribute to the Hamilton Hamilton community. So much like HWDSB has done in building this new multi-year strategic plan and board improvement plan, I think it's really important that the path forward be responsive to the needs of students. And that's one of the things that we are really thinking about, because our new mission is growing together. Our vision is every student experiences a sense of belonging while engaging in dynamic learning in order really to reach their full potential, and so that they can support determining their own future. So I think this is very connected, and I think it's just so important that we talk about this in terms of opportunities, because too often the issue is not what we are offering, but that people are not necessarily aware. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk about this so that more families are aware of these opportunities. Experiential learning, I would just say, is an opportunity to really enhance the student's experience. And one of the things that the principals and vice principals would know that I talk about all the time is, the value that we add, the value that we add to the student's experience. So, why is it better or different because you chose to come to the public school board? And one of those things that adds significantly to their experience are these opportunities around SHISM, dual credit, Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, experiential learning. All of this enhances the student experience, supports their learning, their intelligence, their ability to really adapt to the world that they're going to be going out into once they leave us. So I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. And the other piece that we talk about is focusing on every student, but we also know that students are diverse. They come to us with different lived experience, different identities, and so the work that we do around implementing the multi-year strategic plan is to honor their lived experiences and to support them in the growth. Again, what supports that? All of these different pieces that we've spoken about today, whether it's co-op, whether it's SHISM, all of this supports students in their uniqueness and in their learning.
Well, you talk about some of those incredible programs, and they're fantastic. But of course, it always comes down to that teacher relationship and the within those communities, as far as that relationship with the technological education teacher who brings a vast amount of experience from the industry, the guidance counselor, the EAs, everybody. So I'm really pleased to have had the chance to talk to you today and for you to lay out what's going on in the next 5 years. And I know full well that the vision is there. So I appreciate very much. Thank you very much, Sheryl, for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And please consider rating and reviewing, as it helps others to find the show. For more information or to listen to past episodes, go to povhamilton.com.